I've never really understood the trend of playing a certain type of game during the season, but I'm starting to understand it. My social media and YouTube feeds are always filled with people playing cozy games and relaxing stuff once the fall starts, and people often get into specific seasonal themed games like spooky games for Halloween, more kind of almost simulator kind of relaxing games for Christmas time, that kind of thing. And growing up, I never entirely understood it as, if we had a snow day, I was staying home and I was gaming. I was gaming it up. But I never really changed the kinds of games that I played, or at least I thought I didn't. It's really easy with gaming being a kind of trans-dimensional experience with regards to, like, you can play any game at any time, anywhere, basically, physical constraints aside. And so there isn't, it's not like with radio or television or whatever, where like the Christmas movies are always on, starting on Thanksgiving or starting November 1st these days. All the radio stations that play Christmas music switch over to Christmas music, that kind of thing. With games, you don't really change what you have access to. And so it's easy to not think about it differently. And as I'm trying to be more mindful of the progression of time, as I'm trying to appreciate each year as it is so that I don't freak out and lose a few years at a time and wonder where all the time went, I've really leaned into seasonal appreciation. It helps that my personal kind of spiritual beliefs lean in favor of respecting the seasons and the shifts in nature and things like that anyway. But I've really started to try to go into every seasonal shift in my day-to-day schedule with intentionality. And so my kiddo had a snow day today. We have computers and stuff, so my kiddo had some homework to do, some schoolwork to do as an asynchronous day of sorts, but we got to go play out in the snow. It was not my big art work day that I had planned on having today. And I just needed to be flexible. I needed to embrace that. And since I was planning on playing some games and trying to capture stuff anyway, I thought about what I would normally be doing as a kid, as a teenager, as a young adult, or if I had no other responsibilities today on a big snowy day where everything's coated in white, coated in snow, everything's cozy and relaxing, what would I be doing? And again, I've never been big on the cozy games on that side of things, but I have realized that that is the time that I'm most likely to pick out a bunch of older games and just start trying them out. Games that have been on my shelf for a very long time that I haven't tried out before, that I haven't played before. And a lot of them end up being doozies. A lot of them do not explain what you're supposed to do, or the controls are just abysmal. And that's okay. There's something about the cozy vibes of having space heater on or bundling up and snuggling my cat who doesn't like the cold and just, I don't know, playing a bunch of different games that aren't modern, aren't hyper attention grabby, and just seeing what there is to enjoy. And it's not just the snowy season. It's not just the cozy season. Over summer break, I embraced the fact that I was not going to have my usual daytime work because my kiddo was out of school. And so I gamed a little differently there. I mostly gamed at night. I focused on playing some longer form story games with my wife that we would sit and spend our nights doing because we wouldn't have as much free time. And during the fall, as we were getting back to school, but I was also catching up on work, I was specifically not invested in story games and mostly playing session games to kind of squeeze in as much time as possible. And now that we're rounding out to winter time, to holiday season, I'm thinking more about the cozy games, about trying the older games, the games that relax me and that don't ask anything of me, and just trying them, not committing to anything, just seeing how everything feels, what runs, what I have old saves for, what I don't, what I feel like I might want to commit to over the next few months.
Yeah.
And it's a really good vibe.
Yeah.
I think understanding where you're at any given point in time, whether it's a seasonal change, a schedule change, a life change, and trying to feel out how gaming plays into that rather than expecting it to be the exact same is crucially important. Again, it's easy to see gaming as this unchanging thing that your relationship with should always be static. I think so many of us fall into the pitfall of expecting our relationship with gaming to remain stagnant, static, unchanged. Because the games themselves, live service, blah, 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 aside, the games themselves don't change. The same game you pick up in the fall is going to be the same game in the winter, but you are going to be in a different place. You are going to be feeling different things, and it's very possible that what you feel and how you feel about playing it is going to completely change with the seasons and with your life changes. And the biggest thing to watch out for is to not just stress out about it, not think, oh no, everything's wrong with gaming, with video games, with your ability to game, that something's just different about you. Because a month or two plays out a little differently. That just means you gotta adapt. That just means you gotta evolve. You gotta roll with it. And it's okay if you put down that big game you were hoping to complete. It's okay that you didn't roll credits. You might come back to it. You might end up being like, yo, this isn't for me. And then 6 months later, when you're in a completely different place, it seems more appealing and you blow through it and hit credits and feel amazing about it. There may be session games which feel completely overwhelming to keep up with day to day, and you're just kind of focused on grinding the singular story. And then you have a time when you just want to play a whole bunch of stuff and you're churning through different game sessions like crazy. That is okay. You are not a stagnant person. You are not an unchanging individual. Your feelings, your moods, your energy levels, your expectations, and specifically your interest in stimuli shifts all the time. And as long as you can remain flexible, as long as you can keep rolling with that and allow your gaming capacity to shift with it, you can keep a really healthy relationship with gaming. Just something I've been thinking about this week. I've been really into my art, making some Christmas presents and things like that. But of course, gaming is always there, and I want to keep this channel going great. I am posting some more art videos over on my art channel called Final Draft. I will have it linked in the video description. Let me know what you're playing as we're entering the colder weather here, if you have any snow yet, and remember to be kind, rewind.